band, it's Emily again. So today we are going to talk about sight reading. Sight reading is one of the most important skill to for your instrument learning, and if you are master in sight reading, you will learn faster in a new piece, and also eventually when you improve your sight reading skill, you will get better in rhythm, and you'll get better in phrasing, and eventually you will be a really good musician if you are very good at sight reading. So today we are going to learn how to sight read. Personally, I think it's a hard skill to learn, and it's kind of hard skill to master in it. But I believe if we practice and practice sight reading and know the steps of sight reading, you will get used to sight reading, and you will get better in sight reading. Eventually, you will be master in sight reading. So yeah, today we are going to talk about sight reading, and I will use your band book, page 15, excerpt 70, and also I will use your repertoire in the back of your band book. Hornpipe from Water Music. It's from Handel. I use two pieces to as an example for sight reading. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing I think for sight reading, the most important thing is skill. Skills, learn your skills and be better in your skills, and also eventually memorize your skills. Um, I think it's not. I think it's not very hard to memorize your scale. Probably just one scale per day. Memorize one scale per day, or memorize one scale per week. Then when you practice for, I don't know, like a month, you will get four scales done, and then it will improve your sight reading. Okay, so today I'm going to use the scales from back of your band book, C harmonic minor scales, and also, yeah, learn your major and minor scales. So I will use G harmonic minor scale, and I will choose one B flat major scales. These two scales to as a warm up today. Yeah, I will start with B flat major scale. Okay, and the second scale is G harmonic minor scale. Remember, it's two flats, and on and F natural, because it's a harmonic, convert to F sharp. So be careful of that. Okay, and for this week, I will challenge you to play just the scale, B flat major scale and G harmonic minor scale, for just the scale, to memorize those two scale. You don't need to memorize arpeggio and thirds, so just memorize two scales, and maybe later you can memorize arpeggio and thirds. But for this week, I would just memorize these two scales. Okay. So the next thing, it's read ahead. Read ahead. It's kind of um, so it's kind of like a skills for your sight reading. So for example, on 70s, page 1570s, when you play the first measure, you kind of just memorize the first measure and look at the next measure. So, for example, on 70, when you play B A, and when you play that, you kind of while you're playing it, you should look at the next measure. And yeah, and also the next thing is know the tempo mark. So allegro. What's allegro? Allegro means fast, right? Um, allegro means fast, and when you allegro is around like 110 to 120. Um, so know your metronome. That's 120. 120. You kind of da 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 da. That's your tempo. And but the thing is that while you're in audition, you don't have a metronome. What should you do? Just memorize. Just remember, allegro means fast, or happy, light. So that's the major key. You don't have to worry about what's the tempo, what's the exact tempo it is. You just remember it's a happy, fast tempo. And the next thing to look at is what key is it? What key? So here is B flat, E flat, A flat. B flat, E flat, A flat mean E flat major, right? So I have a little trick for when you want to identify what key is it in. So for example, I would just look at the first notes and the last notes of this excerpt. Usually, it can tell what key is it in. So for this one, there's 3 flats. Let's see the first notes. The first note is B flat, right? But B flat major scale only have 2 flats, so it shouldn't be a B flat major scale. But when you look at the last notes of the excerpt, it's a E flat. E flat, when you memorize, you have your scales in your mind, right? E flat. E flat mean it's E flat scale has 3 flats in it, so it should be a E flat major scale. Then you know it's a E flat major scale. Then you know, oh, usually it just B flat, E flat, and C, right? Yeah. And the next thing I will look at is dynamic mark. So dynamic mark is a forte. For example, the first one is forte, so you should play forte. And after this phrase, let's look at the next phrase. The first time is piano, and the second time is forte. Then I will keep in mind that I should play that dynamic. And the next thing I will look at is accidental, like some notes that is not normal. For example, the first measure, A flat. A flat shouldn't be in that E flat major scale, right? Then I will keep in mind. I will be careful of A flat when I reach to that point. And there's another part. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Measure 5. There's a E flat and E natural and F sharp. It shouldn't be in that E flat major scale. Then I should keep in mind that there is E flat and F sharp when I reach that point. Yeah, and so on. There's like a G sharp, G flat in it, and A natural, E natural, E flat in it. Then I should keep in mind when I reach to that point. And the next thing to look at um, um, is the rhythm. The rhythm. This one look at. This one is normal, right? So there's no heart rhythm in it. So usually it's just quarter notes. Then I know it's a quarter notes. The whole piece, the structure of this excerpt is just quarter notes, right? And the next thing I would look at the accent. Accent. Make sure to play that one as well. Notice that one as well. And yeah, and the next one is to look at the scale. So, for example, let's see the scale repeating patterns. To look at repeating patterns. Repeating patterns. I know in measure three, there is F E D C. That is a scale. So I should know that when I reach to that point. So I don't need to look at that measure. I can just read the next measure, right? And one, two, three, four, five. Measure five, there is a chromatic scale. I know that chromatic scale as well, so I don't need to look at the chromatic scale while I'm playing. I can move on to the next measure, right? And yeah, that's one. That's I think it's kind of a skill or a trick when you do a sight reading. So just look for the major chromatic scales in your excerpt, and then just kind of play with your finger. You don't even need to think about it. You just move on. Your eyes just go to the next measure to read the next measure. Yeah. And the next thing is kind of so when you know the tempo allegro, you know the tempo, just tap your foot when you want to know what measure is it. And while you're playing, I recommend you tap your foot as well to kind of make sure tempo. Yeah, and that's all the key that I wanna share for sight reading, and I will start playing as well. Yeah, it's quite easy when you get to those points. And in case you don't remember, I will type in under the info box. Type in the notes that I just talked about in info box. Um, then you know like the key points and trick or tips for your sight reading. And the next thing I'm gonna sight read is water music, horn pipe from water music on page 36. I'm just going to sight read part A for today. Let's see. The first thing I saw this music is I noticed is moderato. Moderato is mean middle tempo. So it's not too fast and not too slow. So I want to set my tempo as da 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 da. So I'm tapping my flute as that tempo. And the next thing I'm gonna look at is the time signature. The time signature is 3/4. So 3/4. So the time signature will tell you how many beats for for each measure. So there's 3 beats in each measure. It's da 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 da. You should have that beats in your body and tap your flute in your body as well. And the next thing I'm gonna look at is key signature. So I see there is a 1 B flat. So 1 B flat, and I look at the first note, it's a C. C major scale, it shouldn't be a C major scale. C major scale should be no accent, no accidentals at all, no flats, no sharp. It's just all natural, right? So it shouldn't be a C major scale. And now I see the last note of this excerpt. It's a F. Then I'll memorize my scale F. Oh, it is only require one flats. Then it's a F major scale. And the next thing I'm gonna look at is dynamic. So the dynamic here is first time is mezzo forte. So I will make sure that I will do mezzo forte while I'm playing. And the second time is forte. So I will make sure that I play forte when I play second times. And the next thing is at measure 12, there's mezzo piano there. So I will be careful of that. And measure 21, there's mezzo forte. I will be careful of that as well. And the next thing I will look at is the rhythm. So let's see the rhythm. The complicated rhythm is in measure 2 and measure 3. Eventually measure 4 as well. But so I was saying inside my heart while tapping my flute to be sure of the tempo as well. So let's see. Right, that's my tempo. Da 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 da. Right? I will sing along with the beats to make sure that I will get it right. And the next complex rhythm is on measure 6. Measure 6 there is 1/8 note and 1/8 note and a 16 notes. So I would be careful of that and sing along in my heart as well. Da 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 da. And yeah, and also let's see. Let's find if there's any scale in it. So in measure, let's see, in measure 16 there's da 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 16. There's G A G F. That's kind of a scale, right? So you don't need to think about that. You can just move on to the next measure. And when you play, it looks like there are a lot of repeating notes. So I don't need to think about that repeating notes while I'm playing. I will just go ahead to the next. My eyes will just look at the next measure. Yeah, and that's it for this part A excerpt, and I will play. I will play for you. And there's another tip for your sight reading as well. Like me, I make a little mistake in the middle, but I keep going, right? So during your audition, you just want when you for sight reading, you when you hit the mistake, you just keep going. Don't stop, and let the judges know that you know the tempo and you know this music and you are confident with that. Yes, and that's it for today. And I hope you enjoy this sight reading lesson. And I I will write down all the information that I talk about today. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.